Hello, everyone. Tonight, let us discuss something that I think has been sort of under-discussed in the modern fitness scene or sports scene, bodybuilding, anything related. And that is naturals have certain advantages, okay? We hear a lot about, advantages that people that are doping or juicing or whatever have over naturals. And yes, all other things being equal, there are certain performance enhancing drugs that will add maybe a small percent of performance boost to whatever you're doing, sprinting, jumping, punching, lifting, things of this nature. However, to take several steps back and look at the whole thing from a bigger picture perspective and more of a long-term perspective, this is where the path of staying natural has very clear advantages over the advantages that are often marketed or tempting. They're sort of dangling and tempting in front of the eyes of young, especially young people that are just getting involved with weights or sports. And the next thing they know, they hear, "Oh, you're going to need to take the drugs," and somebody's offering it to it. Let's not kid ourselves. Many of these performance enhancing drugs are very easy for people to get their hands on. Young people who know nothing about what they're even using and don't even care, apparently. So let's talk about some of the advantages of the natural path, okay? Now, I'd like to use myself for an example for part of this because I have been lifting for longer than many of you have been alive. I'm more than 2 decades into my lifting, as well as various other sports and activities. And at this point, my health, my vitality, my recovery capacity, my connective tissues, my strength, my personal prowess, everything is at a much higher level than it was 20 years ago. Okay? A much higher level. That's the reality that I'm living right now. Now, other people who started using gear 20 years ago, at the same age I was, the vast majority of them right now have so many health challenges, even above and beyond what the normal populace has in a society where there's a whole lot of bad health going on and ignorance about health in general. These people who took a different path so that they could have bigger muscles faster, which they did, basically their lifting careers are over now for the most part, and mine's just getting better all the time. I'm literally bigger than most people who juice, okay? And I'm not talking pro bodybuilders or anything like that, but I'm talking the millions of kids, well, not just kids, millions of individuals using steroids and other drugs and all over the country, all over the world. I'm much bigger than the vast majority of them, much better physique than the vast majority of them, and I'm way the hell stronger. My actual functional strength. That has something to do with muscle maturity. Like I said, it took me more than 20 years to build this. This is not something I just blew up in 2 years from taking gear. If I had done that, even though I could be as big as I am now, probably within a couple years, if I had gone a different path, I wouldn't have anywhere near the muscle maturity. And furthermore, like I said, by now, I probably would have had enough severe injuries that my days of getting better in the gym would be over, would be behind me, like most of these guys that chose that path, if not all of them, okay? There's very few people I'm aware of that are at my age that are just getting better. So, now, not all of that comes from just not taking, steroids and growth hormone, insulin, and all that crap. A lot of the reason I'm getting healthier over time is because of what you could call a rather advanced understanding of nutrition and lifestyle health factors and so forth. Hence the Never Better Upgrade manual. The things in that manual, let me see how to explain this. There's some important points I need people to understand about what I'm getting at here. That manual doesn't just have custom workout programs to shock your muscles into all new growth. It doesn't just have a whole hell of a lot of information that I use on a regular basis to clean my body and upgrade my vitality. It also has a very anabolic effect, okay? I'm going to be honest here. I don't market it like that because people would overlook the real value in it if I just said this is an anabolic stack of things and lifestyle hacks. A lot of guys would think only about that, and they wouldn't even be paying attention to the fact that it's an opportunity to vastly upgrade your health. your mental clarity, your longevity, your well-being, your awakeness, your awareness, okay? So I don't market the Nether Better Upgrade that way, but you know, there are many synergistic things stacked together in there, which each add to each other small percentages of not only health and vitality and clarity and mind-body upgrades in general, but they have an anabolic effect, okay? I'm not going to get into listing too many specifics because it's taken over 20 years to put together the things in that manual, and it's a very condensed, simplified version of it. It'll still be a lot for any of you to learn to fully implement all the things in that manual in your life, but it's very doable, and you can do that at your own pace. But one of the things I want to get at here when I'm describing advantages that naturals have, and this is something really that I have a good perspective on since I'm so far now into my lifting journey. You know, people think you can't be as big and strong as I am without gear, okay? That's because they go to a gym and they expect that if they can't do that within a couple years, they're never going to get there. Oh, I have bad genetics, blah, 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 blah. Well, when you look at me now, it's easy to not understand what it's like to live for over 20 years with every different fashion possible and keep problem solving and keep trying new things and keep figuring out what works for your own body. But this journey, because I haven't done it the quick fix way with the gear, I've had to learn so much about health and vitality in order to get the gains I wanted, in order to bring my recovery capacity up to 5 times what an average person has, in order to bring my connective tissue integrity up to a level that no matter how heavy I lift, I don't tear things, in order to bring my nervous system health to a level where I can regularly challenge myself with all sorts of workloads, and max efforts and high volume efforts and all these different things, and recover and actually get gains from it because my recovery is strong enough. In other words, you could even lump the term anabolic processes in my body are strong enough to be overcoming and overcompensating for all that hard work. Now, if I didn't have extremely advanced understanding of nutrition and health practices, I wouldn't be able to do this. No way. My recovery ability would still be what it was back in my 20s, which I was overtrained all the time. I would get sick for 3 weeks or a month because I liked training hard, but my recovery capacity just could not keep up with it, which I found very frustrating. Now, one big temptation for young guys that are very driven, that are in that similar scenario, oh, just take steroids, you know, your recovery will go up. Or take some other drug, okay? The thing is with that, try to reason with me here, stay with me, guys. What do you think happens when your physical body is already behind on recovery and overtrained because the way you're training so hard is pulling more micronutrients and resources out of your body than what you're able to keep up with? What do you think happens now when you introduce a synthetic hormone that doesn't listen to the rest of your body and does not cooperate with any other system in your body? It simply goes in there and says, build muscle, build muscle, build muscle, build muscle. It makes building muscle the highest priority in your body. And you've got a body that was already depleted in micronutrients and already out of balance on its recovery. Now you're forcing your body to prioritize building all this extra muscle mass. Where do you think it's getting the nutrients, the micronutrients especially, to do that, guys? It's going to take them from wherever it has to. Organs, brain, bones, anything. Because now your body's not following its own program anymore. It's not communicating. It's not building this muscle because it makes sense to build it. It's building it because it's being forced to. It's being given an outside synthetic signal that doesn't give a shit about anything else going on in your body and just says add muscle, add, build it here, build it here, build it here. What I'm saying is you already didn't have the health capacity to even be keeping up with how anabolic you were as a natural. And now you've introduced this outside factor, this X factor, that's just going to force your body to be crazy anabolic. Why do you think you see so many massive steroid users and whatever other drugs they're on snapping tendons really easily? Because their body has been prioritizing building muscle mass over anything else for a long time. Some of them have shit tendons and crappy organs, and their actual vitality is very low. Yes, their big bloated muscles have a high working capacity and they look impressive, and that's nice, you know, for all your workouts and stuff. But deep inside the body, something that was already drained clear back when you were a kid has just been getting drained worse and worse and worse at a faster rate ever since then, when you started taking a synthetic substance to force your body to build something that it did not have the vitality to build. So what I'm getting at here is one of the big advantages of this long-term natural lifter path has been that in order to attain my goals, I have had to master so much about nutrition and health practices in order to increase my anabolic capacity among everything else in my body, as well as the mindset that lets me get here. A much more healthy neurotransmitter profile in my brain makes it much easier to be optimistic and see possibility and potential in anything. And when you can see it, you can do it. When you can't even believe it, you have no chance. So I've had to improve my mental health, my physical health drastically, and I've even had to overhaul my emotional health completely to be where I am now. So what I'm saying, guys, is if you have grand goals as a natural and you're willing to take the time to get there, what you'll find is that you have to master your own personal health and vitality to a degree that's unheard of, basically, in modern society. But it can be done. And the benefits of that, they go so far beyond having your 20-inch arms or whatever, whatever the goal is. All those are great. All those personal goals being attained is wonderful. But the benefits of this path have expanded so far beyond what it is to be a bodybuilder or a strength athlete that this is why I care so much about sharing this with everybody. I don't care if you never exercise. I mean, ideally anybody should get at least some gentle exercise, but you don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to benefit from what I've learned on this journey. That's what I'm saying. This applies now to everything in life. The increased mental ability, the increased physical ability, the increased sense of well-being, sense of possibility, sense of opportunity. It changes everything about your reality. And like I said, if I'd been on steroids now for 20 years, I'd have probably torn a bunch of tendons, I'd have probably had a bunch of severe injuries, and I'd probably be all crippled up. And as it stands, I've got great ape tendons. Everything in me is just the strongest and the most bulletproof and the most amazing it's ever been. Okay? And a lot of you guys, I may not look it, but I'm old enough to be your dad. Okay? So try to picture that. I know it's difficult when you're very young and you're getting started and you just want to look like your superhero, ideal physique, and you want that as fast as possible. But if you go that fast road, just know that that's also the short road. That's the short path, okay? Look at my favorite pro bodybuilders, okay? Well, some of my favorites, Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. Amazing, amazing, amazing guys. Now, Jay, I think, is doing okay. But look at Ronnie, not so much, man. He broke so many things because he had that incredible willpower. And this happens to a lot of guys. Dorian Yates, the awful bicep tears and not being able to make the muscle look right again. If their skeletal integrity would have been able to be in the same ballpark as their muscles, that never would have happened, okay? But those guys work really hard, and they got all these things in their body causing it to build all this muscle. Other systems of the body are getting shortchanged. That's the math here. Furthermore, and I was talking to Alex from Alpha Destiny earlier about this today on Skype. We were having a little meeting, but think about this, guys. Even guys who go on testosterone replacement, and I'm talking to some of you that are doing this in your 20s and 30s because your body's not making any testosterone. Let me tell you something. That's not because your body can't make it. Your body can make enough testosterone to be like a moderate steroid cycle. That's how I am. I have the test levels of a moderate steroid cycle all year. Okay? So I have all keepable gains. I have muscle maturity. I have a truly functional body. My skeletal system is upgraded to the point to be able to handle anything I do with my muscles, even though I'm setting PRs and lifting crazy ass weights in weird positions that a lot of people are just scared to try just because it's something different. But think about this, guys. Even if you go and say testosterone replacement, you're just on a low dose. That's a synthetic hormone, so it doesn't have the same exact effects as your own bio-testosterone, which communicates. It's a living, alive thing. The molecules of testosterone that your body produces, they're alive. They're conscious things that are communicating with different parts of your body. Synthetic man-made drugs, not at all. It's not alive. It doesn't communicate with anything else in your body. It just forces the message, build muscle above all else. Now let's take this a step further. One thing that's happened, and doctors are slowly starting to catch up to this, they should have realized it immediately if they had any calling for what they're doing, but when you take that external supply of testosterone or whatever hormone that's shutting you down, your brain, your master glands in your brain, they don't just stop sending the signals that produce testosterone, guys. You eventually stop producing as much DHEA, which is a youth hormone. That goes way down, or some guys it's like pretty much gone. Natural progesterone, which believe it or not is important for males too, for health, that goes bye-bye. And trust me when I tell you, there's a lot of hormones that those glands produce that nobody's even labeled it or named it yet. And as time goes on, they're going to map out more of what those are and go, this one's important because it works with these ones. All these things are meant to work together in the body. And when you're taking external testosterone, you're not just shutting down your natural testosterone production. You're shutting down all the other hormones that those same glands make. Why is this not discussed, right? Everybody's just fixated on that one thing. Oh, androgen or no androgen. There's several other androgens that are even known that your body's going to quit producing, as well as all kinds of other hormones that, if you think any hormone that your body produces doesn't have a function that's important, that's crazy, okay? It does. So you can't even compensate. You can't even take a synthetic version of all those other hormones because mankind doesn't even know what they all are yet, guys, okay? So yes, you can gain, some of you could probably be my size in a couple years on gear. But then you could probably be done as an athlete a few years after that. And I see this happen rampantly, very commonly. Most guys don't make it as far as somebody like Dorian or Ronnie before they break a bunch of tendons and they're done. Most guys don't make it near that far, okay? In a world where people's health already has so many challenges, a lot of you add one more toxin to your body and now you're past the tipping point. Now you got real health problems. So what I'm saying is I'm not ragging on users of gear. If like Rich Piana, if that's your decision and you're fully aware that you're shortening your life and you're okay with that and that's your choice, I can respect that because you know the choice you're making and you're owning it. If you're going to own your own choice and you've informed yourself and done the research and you choose that path, very well. I'm here to support you with health, with workout programs, anything. Okay, I'm not harping anybody. I'm not giving thumbs down. I'm not going to lecture anybody for being on the juice, whatever. As long as that's your decision and you've really weighed it up and decided that's really your decision and you're going to own it, very well. I can respect that. But let's be real, that's not what's happening. There's millions and millions of kids out there just shoving whatever in their body and they don't even know what the hell it is. They don't know what dose it is. They don't know if it's clean. They don't even know if the product is what it says it is. This stuff's being made in people's bathtubs, from what I understand. So, and if you don't use the needle, from all my reading, the oral steroids are way the hell more toxic. They'll definitely mess up your body. So there's really not... Again, I'm not lecturing anybody, and some of you get your steroids right from some, manufacturing place. You at least know it is what it is. But I'm just talking about the realistic statistics that show how many millions of people are out there, gym rats or gym enthusiasts that are just taking all kinds of shit. None of them even look like they've ever used anything because the truth is they don't know how to work out. They don't know about nutrition. They don't know about recovery. They don't know anything. They just went to a gym and found somebody to sell them a bunch of drugs to put in their body, and they're hoping that that's magically going to make them the He-Man they want to be. And in some of them, they get pretty good temporary inflation, but as soon as they run out of needles to stick in themselves, they just piss it all away because they never really built any muscle. It's temporary inflation. It's a volumizing effect. And then they're psychologically addicted because they want to look that way all the time, so they run out and get more. It's a terrible cycle, okay? The only people that, to me, it makes any sense to ever take any gear is if you're competing in a professional, in a sport like, say, professional bodybuilding, okay? In order to be at the top level of that, you're competing against people that are using all these different branches of science and pushing the envelope, so that's what you're going to do. But for the rest of us, if you're not competing in that, why? Because the truth is, if you're willing to get keepable gains with muscle maturity over a long period of time, you'll have a body that's more bulletproof. You'll have a body where your skeletal integrity can keep up with your muscles. You won't just look buff and you're basically just a walking time bomb, because that's what a lot of people are doing to themselves, guys. They're looking impressive in the short term, but they're just walking time bombs. And the next thing you know, I've personally known guys that were 300 and some odd pounds of lean, 23-inch arms and shit, walking through a parking lot somewhere, just slipped and just broke their knees apart, both knees, and now they're like crippled, just from a little fall. That even some old ladies can handle that better than they did. Okay, guys that you look at him and you think, oh, he looks like he can bench press a semi truck. Not really, not really. If you're going to slip and fall down just walking and tear both ACLs, and I've seen this, torn shoulders from almost nothing. It's crazy. The brittleness of some of these guys' tendons, and that's just the tendons. We're not even talking about what their organs and glands. If your tendons are brittle, there's a good chance some of your glands and organs, same thing. The material's just crap. It's just this brittle junk that's not working right. So it's all connected in the body, guys. And when you take care of your vitality and any system of your body gets stronger and better, the other ones do too. It's a holistic organism. And if you just stick outside information in it that says build muscle at all costs above everything else, it will, because that's what those drugs do. But you're robbing yourself. You're robbing your vitality inside, guys. And you're only going to get so far doing that. Now, obviously, there are people who are really good with nutrition, who no doubt take steroids and other drugs, who probably get a lot farther with a lot less consequences. So, but it's all math, okay? And hopefully I'm making some clear points so that you can understand that an advanced lifter, like the strongmen of old, okay, incredible strength, even more pound for pound strength than any gear users I've seen. A lot of muscle mass, but it didn't come fast. It's taken me a long time. And again, it's required me to master my health to a degree that nothing else probably would have required me to do that. So this has been a tremendous blessing in disguise, and that's a lot of what I'm trying to pass on here. Whether you're going to take gear or not, the Never Better Upgrade Manual will do a lot to improve your health and your life and your gains and your goals and everything. But what I'm saying here is when you combine all the right practices and the mindset in your life, let's say there's 20 different items in a comprehensive healthy stack of supplements and herbs, and let's say each one of those is adding half of 1% to your total anabolic ability. So when you put all those 20 things together, here's where it gets interesting. It won't be 10% now. It'll be more than that because these things synergize. You put them all together and maybe you have a 20% increase in your anabolic activity now. Well, hell, the way I understand it, there's performance-enhancing drugs out there that don't even do that well. And furthermore, they're sure as hell not making you more healthy. They're taking from you. So just think about this, guys. It's like a word to the wise. Because I know, especially as young guys, you're being tempted with, oh, they have all these advantages because, he's taking the gear. Everything's easy mode for him now. Well, it may look that way for a short term, but that's not really true. In the long run, I honestly believe that the natural guys who are dedicated, who use intelligent creative training and learn their body and upgrade their health over time, they have way more advantages. Really. So if you're a wise person and you're willing to look at this as a long-term project, you don't just want big muscles, you want longevity with it. You want to have a nice body for a long time, not just a massive body for a short time till everything implodes, okay? If you want to take that wiser path and have long-term dedication, the steps that make it work, and that's what I'm sharing here, they all involve getting healthier and smarter and more creative and using more advanced, better, more clever training methods because you have to, right? If you want to get your best gains, you're going to have to branch out and try some things because look around at natty standards, as they're called. Most natties are people that just, to me, they just gave up. They just think that fitness is this thing where you go lift a couple weights, but you never expect much from it because you're never going to have much. That's the attitude I'm seeing out there from a lot of them, okay? People I talk to, and I pick up the general vibe where especially young people are looking at this from. And I'm here to testify to you that your body, when given all the right things and the right mindset, can do much more than you think it can. And that's because your mind can do much more than you think it can. And this is a vast understatement. I don't want to go too far out there because some people just, then they go, oh, he's totally crazy. We can't listen to anything he says. But a lot of you guys have been reporting in majorly, you're impressed by the gains you're getting, how fast, after getting the Never Better Upgrade manual. And it's not just the new, shocking, creative, different workout programs, although that's a big part of it, but it's the other side. There's a yin and a yang here. The yang is all the activity, it's all the work. But yin supports yang. Okay, yin is your recovery, it's your health, it's your vitality. If you learn how to build up that side of the coin, the yang side gets stronger. Okay? Your workouts, your strength, your progression, everything gets better. But you've grown up in a world where nobody taught anybody about this side, the yin side. Okay? And I've learned a lot of things about this through all my struggles and trials and errors and overcomings and successes and failures and everything else over all the years. And I've condensed it into something very simplified that anybody who cares to and understands the value in it can figure out how to implement these things into your lives. That's the Never Better Upgrade manual. And the main point of this message is just for you young guys to really think about this. Really think about this. Don't be in some rush to jump on gear. Think about this for yourself for a while. Anybody that ever went on gear will tell you you're supposed to do like 5 years of good lifting or something before you do anyway, and then supposedly your gains are going to be way better. So especially you new guys, don't be in a rush to go get the drugs just because they're easy to get, okay? If you could look at yourself 20 years from now on that path versus 20 years from now on your best version of a natural path where you build up your health, and I don't mean natural path, yeah. I don't mean naturopathic medicine, although that's involved in this. But if you take that long-term approach, 20 years from now, you're going to be much better off. Okay? I don't know for sure 10 years from now if the juiced up version of you versus the healthy version of you, I don't know which one is going to look better 10 years from now. I do know which one's going to look better 20 years from now and feel better and function better and be at a personal best 20 years from now instead of talking about the good old days like you're some kind of old geezer because everything's all broke down, you know, and you had a few seasons way back in the day when you're on all this gear and whoop-de-doo. Do you really think that's going to be fulfilling for the rest of your life? To look at some picture of you that only lasted for a short time? Personally, I know that the vast majority of you would find it much more rewarding to master health and vitality for an endless list of reasons. Okay? Let me think if there's anything else. The gains, obviously, are going to be keepable. Okay? You build the muscle the real way, where your body is in agreement with every new muscle fiber that's built, you can maintain it. I'm convinced that if you take care of your health, you can maintain it for life. Because I've read and studied a lot of tribal societies and found that you couldn't even tell the difference between great-grandpa, grandpa, dad, and the youngest generation. When the guys all went out hunting together, they were all muscular, they all climbed trees, they all did all the same things. There was no debility in old age in healthy tribal environments. Basically, a person would live their entire lifespan entirely functional, and then when they're old and they've had enough, they just don't wake up one day, okay? They don't have this debilitating disease and this breakdown and this degeneration and turning into a zombie that you see in modern society. Okay? That's not natural. Just because you've been taught to accept it and you have these extremely low standards for health because you've been growing up in this echo chamber called modern society, it's not real. There's something, your potential vitality can be that of a wild animal. Okay? Something that's so far beyond modern human, what's accepted as vitality, it's not even funny. 100 years ago, the average testosterone on males would absolutely get you thrown out of any sport now for being on steroids. And that was the average. Even Poindexter, 100 years ago, had testosterone levels that would get him thrown out of a professional competition now because they don't think you can make that much. You can. And your body will if you get all the contaminants out of it that are in the way, if you get all the beliefs out of your head that are in the way, and you get all the necessary micros and other important nutrients in there that you need, and you have a lifestyle that supports your goals, there's really no saying what your mind and body can do, guys. Okay? And that is a much more rewarding long-term path than the whole quick fix and pay later path that the majority of a lot of youngsters that go to the gym are getting sucked into these days. So I just wanted to paint that from the other side because I know you've all been influenced by this idea of all the advantages that people taking gear and this drug and that performance enhancer, all these supposed advantages they have. At the end of the day, like I said, unless you're going to compete against them in the Olympics in the 100-meter dash or something, whatever advantages they supposedly have over you, they don't. It's not going to pan out to be any advantage in the scheme of their life, okay? Just because for a couple years they were 1 degree faster or their muscles were inflated a few inches bigger than they would have been otherwise, so what? So what? Because when that's gone, what do they have left now? You know? They don't even have a keepable physique. All right, guys? So just weigh all that up. Again, I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm just sharing what over 20 years gives me the perspective on at this point. All right? Much love to everyone and appreciation. Thank you for your time. Thank you for considering that, all you young guys. Remember, I'm here to support your health and your life regardless of what drugs you take or not, and whatever, okay? I'm just really sharing some pearls of wisdom here that are more... The real risk here is that because you haven't gone through what I have, you can't appreciate this perspective, the value in what I'm sharing as much as I can. But I know, especially on this channel, there's a lot of really wise people. Young people, too. All ages, but I talked to some of you guys that are really young and you're really wise. So I know I'm not wasting my words here. Some of you are going to get the value in this, and that's going to help you make your decision onto a path that, 20 years from now, you're going to be so glad that's the path you took, okay? You might start being so glad today. You don't have to wait 20 years. I'm just sharing that the longer you go down that path, the more the benefits of that path you have the potential to discover. Okay? Much love, Jedis. Over and out for now.